I'm delighted to welcome you here this morning, right into the centre of town, for the Talent to Trade event. My name is Lucy Parker, and I'm with you throughout the day. I chair the Talent and Enterprise Task Force, which is based in the Department of Children, Schools and Families, just across the road, and is a cross-government task force which reports through to the Prime Minister on the issue of raising the game on talent and skill in this country. So it's a marvellous place to be with you this morning. Today is about how the world is changing and about how we respond to the new imperatives which are emerging. I think there is a growing consensus, is there not, that it is, in the end, all about the merging of people, planet, and profit. Often, maybe too often, those things are seen in separate silos, in separate camps in our lives. Let's worry about climate change and the planet, or let's grow our businesses for economic prosperity, or let's be concerned about the people. How do we manage people in our businesses? How do we grow talent in our schools? In fact, increasingly, we're understanding that these things are all interconnected to the point of having to be considered together. So perhaps one of the most exciting things about this morning is what a cross-sectoral group of people this is. We have people here from the educational world, from the business world, from NGO and third sector, from government, and indeed, given that we're thinking about the future, we have young people with us who are growing up into the world which we call our future and which this is really all about. So we're delighted to have you here. There are many opportunities to hear from a very wide range of expertise and backgrounds and disciplines today on the platform. There's also opportunities to participate in workshops and masterclasses. And I must mention to you that there is an opportunity which we should be taking up, the Solution Hub, run by Envision downstairs in the coffee bar. Will be operating 3 times in the day during our coffee breaks and lunch with a very specific purpose. It's to ask young people. Most of us here who are adults have some form of responsibility in our jobs for thinking about the future and what the future will hold for young people and how we make what we do relevant, appealing, engaging, significant for young people. But do we often actually ask them how to do that, or what they think, or what they want? And so there will be a group of young people available, almost like a sounding board, a panel, a focus group, a response, a solution hub, for you to ask any question. If you want to, during the breaks, go to Envision's stand downstairs and ask some young people, and at the end of the day, we'll get back some answers. And everything you ask, even if it doesn't get reported back in the day, will be collected and given back to you as a response. So you have a focus group of young people if you are an adult here. Or maybe, indeed, if you're a young person and you want your own views backed up, you could ask a question yourselves. But to the subject of the day, why am I so pleased in my role with the Talent and Enterprise Task Force to be here? Because it so neatly brings together all the subjects that matter to us. The task force was really set up to be the banner carrier for a very important, straightforward idea. There really is only one natural resource in this country anymore, and it's our people. It's always been true, arguably, that people were our strongest resource. But in this country, over centuries, we've had access to other resources. We've had access to the coal under our feet. We've had access to raw materials all over the world. But now, right now, in the 21st century and following the decline of the heavy industries in the second half of the 20th century, we really have our people. And we have to earn our way in the world. Our young people have to grow up with jobs that earn their way in the new global economy. And so this is a very important subject. As Sandy Leach said when he wrote the Leach Report several years ago now, skill was once a key lever to prosperity. Now, talent, skill, and creativity is the key lever in this country. When we wrote the report on the work of the Talent Enterprise Task Force earlier this year, we were drawing on the expertise of many partner groups and experts around the country on this subject. And we came up really with 6 priorities that the educational system specifically has to keep at the front of its mind. Let me share them with you. One is, the first perhaps, is that we have to have an education system that commits to discovering and developing talent in all of its people. It sounds so simple, But actually that isn't what has happened. You can feel the education system begin to galvanise around that. It's what Liz Reed, who runs the SSAT, the Specialist Schools and Academies Trust, calls the 100% challenge. Is our education system really leaving nobody out? Second, we do have to have this coming generation of young people really able to take up the high-tech challenge. The fact of the matter is, a lot of what will drive the jobs, industries, opportunities of the future will be technology-led. Do we have a culture that enables our young people to do it, whether they are actually directly involved or not? Have we got a technology-literate culture? Third, it's time really to move creativity and enterprise centre stage. As well as all the subjects we learn in school, all the accreditations and qualifications we get in particular subjects, there are two qualities that are emerging that underpin everything: creativity and enterprise. And are they driving the real get up and go culture that we need? Also, there's a gap at the moment. We're doing masses to heal it, and today is part of that. But there is a gap between the world of work and the world of the classroom. And anything we can do to connect that is vital. We also have to see teaching as a career for talented people. If people are our greatest resource, and our young people are going to be the greatest resource of this century, we'd better have very talented people backing that. And finally, in the education field, and this brings me to my last point really, globalisation. The fact of the matter is the ground is changing under our feet in this country. Many people are not really alert to the way globalisation and the forces of globalisation are changing the prospects for us individually, as communities and as a country. And we need to wake up to that. So those were the priorities we identified when we wrote the report earlier this year. And today is very much about those things. I will introduce to you later some of the young global fellows who travelled to China, India, Brazil this year, as indeed last year, and really come back to share with us what we have to learn in this country about globalisation, what it should do to us. And to conclude, we have to link this with our ability to change to the low-carbon economy. These are not separate challenges. I remember as we set up the Global Fellowship 2 years ago, a very senior businessman said to me, slightly exasperated, "Oh, are you saying that last year it was climate change and now it's globalisation and we have to drop one and pick up the other?" We all know the answer to that is no, they have to go hand in hand. And in fact, if you said, what has talent got to do with the climate change challenge, the answer is, I think, really simple. We know we don't know the answer yet. We have to invent it. It's to do with digging deep in ourselves and finding innovative solutions, dreaming up new ways of operating, working together in different ways. So we have to use every scrap of talent, every capability and skill, and every ounce of creativity we have to respond to the climate change challenge and turn it into an opportunity of the low-carbon economy and to pay our way in an era of the new global economy. So it's a great pleasure to have you all here today to think about exactly that. And I hope each and every one of us takes away a fragment of a new perspective to take into our own working lives when we live here.